One reason that is against Max Weber's hypothesis that it was the Protestant work ethic that is responsible for the prosperity of Europe is the fact that there are many reasons why he was wrong on some aspects. But the ones I'm talking about today specifically, I want to look at the role of religion, for example, in the Far East, in Japan and in China, and also in India, which largely subscribe to Buddhism. It's a contemplative religion that seeks to kind of pull that person away from worldly affairs into some kind of contentment and distance from the desire for things and for profit. And so Max Weber postulated that that kind of underpinning, psychological underpinning, is going to undermine entrepreneurship because by definition, entrepreneurship requires drive, and it requires that person to get out of their situation, out into the world. They need to get into the mundane, into the activities of daily life to solve problems and then to get paid and to create profit in that process. So he theorized that these nations were not going to rise as a result of espousing such values. And he also looked at Confucianism, which is a very dear doctrine in Japan, held to in Japan and also in China. And Confucius was also a lot about hard work, about self-discipline, and huge on literacy. And literacy is an important factor in improving the economics of any nation because it just changes the way a population thinks. It opens up their minds and their idea and their creativity. It unleashes their creativity. It also sets up systems that can perpetuate a framework that can create an enabling environment for capitalism to thrive. And it is not that capitalism is the best economic system. All economic systems are flawed one way or another. But the dominant economic system in our time right now is capitalism. So Max Weber claimed that Confucianism required this filial piety and a strong kinship attachment. So you're attached to your family, your parents. And as a result of that, you're not able to step out and now forge new relationships with strangers. And in so doing, create businesses and create partnerships because you're so attached to your kin. And for that reason, he said that capitalism was not going to thrive in China. Well, over time, that has not panned out exactly that way because China is actually quite a capitalist state. And some of those values that have been espoused or described by Confucius are actually the values that promote the economic growth of a nation. So that's one instance in which we see that religion creates values that end up promoting the economy of a nation. The same thing happened in Japan. Japan was largely isolated till the Meiji Restoration era when they opened up their borders to do trade with other nations. And in that time, they also imbibed some of their ideas. Not entirely, but there was some imbibing of the ideas. Again, in that setup, that it's not really the religion, but rather the values that were underpinned that ended up growing Japan as an economy. For one, Japanese societies are very entrepreneurial. They believe in craftiness, in building a business, in working very hard. It is not unusual for a Japanese individual to work 12 hours, particularly now, even as they have a large aging population. So it's not so much the Protestant work ethic as the ethic itself. It's not so much the religion as what it inculcates.